Hey, I wanna try and dress like a girl, but I'm kind of afraid. What people say. Do you have any advice? Crossplaying, cross-dressing, it's not for the faint of heart. You know, it's not for the faint of heart. You have to have you have to have a strong desire if you want to pull forward with it, you know? Because when you're alone and you're crossplay and no one's gonna have your back, when you're outside doing what you normally do, you're the only one who's gonna have your back. So it's very, very tough. There are some people who are unfortunate, like you know, I shouldn't say unfortunate. There are people who don't pass, no matter what thing, and they're always gonna get looks. Someone's always gonna have something to say. My best advice is you have to have a strong heart. A strong heart. You got to be able to take punches. You got to be able to. You got to be able to. You got to be strong. You got to be smart about it. You know, like me. I don't know. A lot of people look at me like, "Oh, Blondie, they cross is fun." It is fun. It is fun. But you have to know how to handle yourself. You have to know like how to put yourself in how to get yourself out of certain situations. How to even, I would say, act in public. You know, there are mannerisms, all of that. It's not for the faint of heart. Thank you, Dizzy. But that's what I have to say. I think that it's good advice and it's a good tip. You know, it's something that people won't normally really tell you. They won't tell you like, oh no, what they're gonna say is, oh, do what makes you happy, yo, like blah blah blah. Yeah, do what makes you happy, go for it. I believe in you. When I don't really think they may have that much experience because they probably haven't done it themselves. But you have to be tough. You have to be tough. You have to. That's why, like for me, you learn to be a girl without losing the boy in you. That's sort of my thing. Like I'm not gonna, just because I do girly things or just because I dress like a girl doesn't mean that I have to, you know, not have some masculine traits as well. So that's what I have to say. Like you have to be tough. And whether you do it part-time, full-time, or whether you do it just for fun, you can try it. By all means, you can try it and see how it is for you. But that would be my tip. It's like hard knock life. So yeah, especially if I don't know if it's harder for you, like visual wise, you may go through not feeling that you're pretty enough. You may like lose confidence. You might lose friends, family. You might lose. I'm giving you all the reasons not to do it, but you know, you got to be tough. Everyone who, even for like being trans, like I think they have it harder for us, especially for the ones that don't pass. That's when they want to live these lives. You know what I mean? You know, everyone wants to be attractive. Everyone, you know, in their own certain way. But if you want to do it for fun and you think you can handle it, then sure. You know, I don't know what your lifestyle is like. I don't know who accepts you for it, if like where you're from, like your experience socially. I don't know any of that, but this is pretty good advice. This is like hard to swallow pills, like red pill shit. So that's what I gotta say about that. There you go. I'm afraid because my parents hate it and I can't leave the house right now. I'm too young. That's the thing. If you really like it and it's something that you want to do right within the future, eventually you're gonna have to break away from that. For me, I'm like very lucky because my parents, you know, they accept me. They still accept me for doing this. You know, I've heard stories of like where there are like trans people, even like no matter what, they get famous or whatnot, they're still like exiled from their family just because they're trans. You know, and I obviously don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Especially like, you know, they've worked hard to be this person, and you know they pretty much have like a hard mode, especially if, you know, they don't pass, because it's something that the world's not ready for. Maybe like within maybe 5-10 years, especially with the new generation, like everything will be more accepting because people are learning to accept these things depending on where you are and where you live. But you have to just be extremely patient. Let's be very patient. If you know it's gonna, you never know. Some people, they grow out of it. Some people, maybe they think it's just a thing. You never know. There you go. Yeah, just because I dress like a girl doesn't mean I can't full belt on stream. I think like when you are a crossplayer, crossdresser, or, and you know, like it's sort of like, wow, it looks like we have another social pressure, and that comes from each other, comes from like ourselves, like, oh, is this person pretty enough, is this person that. It's very vain. That's why I don't really like suggest crossplay, crossdress too. And then, you know, once that happens, a lot of people get into it. It can like form like a sort of like toxicity where it just becomes a popularity contest, and that's very unhealthy, because next thing you know, you're comparing people just by how they look as opposed to how they are as a person. This was actually supposed to be like, I wanted to do a video on this, on like why crossplay, crossdress is bad, why it's bad, or like why it's difficult. But at least, you know, I'm pretty sure I have a lot more things to say about it, but that's what I have to say. So yeah, I don't mean to start off with like a very serious topic and whatnot, but yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Like, you know, life is difficult, yo. Life is very difficult. Like I'm pretty, like I have issues too that I have to like deal with, but like no one's gonna do it for you. You got to do it yourself. You have to do it yourself. You have to find that power within you. You have to find the motivation, that constant motivation for you to keep on like pushing forward. One day you might feel motivated, next day, oh nah, it's whatever, I'm like, well, just stay in bed. Yeah, hard. I have a trans bestie and she's been through a lot, even hate from her dad, which was heartbreaking, but eventually came around. It took a while, so like Blondie said, you gotta be strong eventually. Things will get, you gotta be strong. Like your emotions are gonna like take you on a freaking, it's like a whirlwind like of what people think of you. It's not just your family, but like your people you work with. Everyone's gonna judge you. Everyone's gonna judge you, so you have to overcompensate most of the time. You have to work harder. You know, that's the cost. That's the cost of being a crossplayer, crossdresser, or you know, like, you know, for being different, for being socially different than everyone else, and them knowing that, you know, knowing that you do it. You got to be like really tough, and as said, it's by yourself. You have friends there for the emotional support, you know, who'll try and be there for you, you know, but they won't be there all the time. Came around, yeah, you never know. Sometimes they will come around, sometimes they won't. As long as you try, as long as you really try. But if they don't change, then you can't say that you didn't try. You can't say that you didn't try, and yeah, you have to move forward from there. You have to remember, I don't mean to sound selfish, like, yeah, you have to care about people, but you have to, it's a balance. You have to sort of like, you have to care about yourself. Think about it. Will crossplay and crossdress, me being this way, actually make me happy? Or maybe some other people, sometimes they find alternatives instead of like just crossdressing. I'm not sure what, but I don't know. It could be like a drug. Like you gotta find something to replace that. But that's what I have to say about crossplay, crossdress. You know, you never even know. Like maybe your significant other, you know, thing. I'm lucky because like the people I date, they know I do this beforehand. Some people I've met before we actually dated. Like, oh wow, you're just like a girl. Like, yeah. And then like, oh, that's cool. Blah blah. Yeah. And then yeah. From that point, yeah. Sometimes it's nice to meet people, even when you're in crossplay or crossdress, and then like you're out with your friends, and then they introduce you, like, oh wow. Next thing you know, you feel a connection, and then yeah, magic stuff happens. You just gotta be, you know, you gotta be in it. You gotta feel good. Like, let's not force positivity, right? But then in a sense it is, but you force it to a point where you change your thought process and actually making it a positive experience. You don't really expect much, but I think what you should focus on sometimes is just, wow, this is me. I'm doing this. I like, wow, I didn't know think I could look like this. I think it looks awesome. You know,